Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going to explore the brand new InnyBuild London City Airport from the private jet perspective. We have loaded over at the London City Jet Center and we are going to fly over to Amsterdam on a lovely little VATSIM event. So I'm expecting ATC all along the way, and we can go ahead and get ready for today's flight right now. This is going to be a lovely sunset departure and then a nighttime arrival in Amsterdam with full ATC on the way in, so I'm really looking forward to this one, as we haven't flown into a major airport on a VATSIM evening event with any business jet in a long time. At least not to the scale that I'm expecting over here. Now, we are doing a very quick walk around over here. Let's go ahead and collect all of our chocks and equipment, and then we can run right into our Citation and get her ready for today's flight. Alright then, opening the main door, and here we go. Let's jump in and get ready. So here we are, our first officer is here already, and then we can start with a quick setup work over here. So our emergency lights are looking good and the arm position is working as well. Then let's go ahead and test the standby power system, and that is looking fantastic, and we can turn that thing on, and then we can turn the batteries on as well. Now, we do require a ground power unit today, so let's quickly jump into the electronic flight bag here and grab the services. So GPU can open and ground power unit connected. Fantastic. Let's turn that on. Let's turn the electrical interior button on, and then we can have a quick look down here into our checklists. So, the pre-flight inspection is complete, nose landing gear torque link connected, engine, pitot, APU and static wick covers are removed, circuit breakers in, emergency light switch on, standby power switch test and on, batteries on, oxygen quantity. Let's go ahead and have a look at that real quick. I think that's on the summary page, is it? And yes, it is. Okay, so oxygen quantity is looking good and GPU is connected. So, bus ties is verified closed, interior button is on, tail floodlight is not required. Well, I'll actually tell you what, the sun is going down quickly, so let's go ahead and turn the tail floodlight on today. Alright, landing gear handle is down 3 greens, CBR button is tested, control lock off, and then we can start with a system initialization. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the initialization, starting with the weight and fuel, and for that we can run over into our electronic flight bag where we are going to import our SimBrief flight plan. So 3,600 pounds of fuel is what we need. We are going to take a little more just to take care of some possible holdings, so we are gonna top that up to 4,000 pounds. On that we should be good. Weather is fantastic everywhere, as you can see. Alright, with that in mind, let's go down into the services and payload. We've got a full complement of 8 people on board. Like that. And then just quickly gotta change the weight units down here to Imperial. Alright, and 4,000 pounds are actually on board already, and in the cargo bay we're going to load another 200. Alright, set that weight, and that's all looking fantastic over here. So let's go right back down. Crew and stores are set, then we have 8 passengers and 200 pounds of cargo. For the fuel on board we're going to synchronize, and for the landing let's have a look at the reserves. And that's 1,361 pounds. So, 1361. Alright, that's looking fantastic. Then let's go on with our flight plan, and for that we will be using our ACARS for the flight plan request. Alright, gonna get the latest, London City to Amsterdam, and here we go. And then let's see if there is any ATIS online. Though I'm not 100% sure if there is. So, D8 is looking for Echo Golf Lima Charlie, London City. Let's go ahead and request that. Departure 8 is, and we do not want the real world one, but a simulated one. But it looks like there is none online at the moment. That is okay. Instead, what we are gonna do is go down into the performance, takeoff data, London City, weather, and show METAR. And with the wind 200 at 6, it's probably going to be runway 27 that's going to be in use. And for runway 27, we got the Oduku 1 Alpha departure. So, procedure, departure, and Oduku 1 Alpha. Let's go ahead and preview that one. So, show map. ACAS message. Yeah, startup instructions. Okay, no problem with that. Thank you. So let's have a look. That's what our SID looks like straight at waypoint 01, 02, 04 Oduku. And that's all looking good down here. And when we go over into the charts. So ICAO, departure. And here it is, Oduku, let's pin that one. And that looks pretty much like what we've just seen, doesn't it? Okay, so straight out waypoint 01, max 210 between 1110 and 3000, waypoint 02, 3000, 3000, 3000, that's all looking good. Alright, then we can load that departure, and the restrictions are in here as well. Alright, for our VNAV, we are completely limited by the departures, so we don't need to put anything additional down here. And that is all looking good. Then we are done with the flight plan, at least for now. London City 07, use weather and temperature, that is looking good. Flaps 1 is looking good, rolling takeoff, probably yes. And takeoff data is accepted. Fantastic, then we can start with our system tests. Stall warning is in progress. Okay, engine fire test.
Engine fire. Right engine
It's looking good on both sides.
Right engine fire. Left engine fire. Right engine fire.
Okay, so that is looking good. Then let's continue with the smoke detector.
Baggage fire.
And that is looking good. They're both illuminating. Alright, so smoke detector should be done in a moment. In the meantime, I'm setting up the radios over here. So, annunciators are all working. So 21.5 is already going active. Then the traffic test has already passed. Let's continue with the overspeed test. And that is also looking good. Then let's continue with the HF1 test, which is progressing automatically. And after that we do the HF2 test, and then we're basically done already. Why is that controller on that side now? That's not where we are supposed to be. You go back to the right hand side there, thank you very much. HF2 test. And then we go back to the checklist, and we've been in the before start checklist, I think. Yeah. Alright, so initialization, performance and system tests have now passed, and the initialization is completed and accepted. Next up, ATIS clearance and flight plan. And for that, let's go ahead and call London.
1612, climb now, flight level 290.
I'm now to 290.
Tonjet 42 Charlie, when ready, descend, flight level 220.
When ready, climb flight level 220, Tonjet 42 Charlie.
Morning, good afternoon, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Are you covering London City?
I am not. It is London on 120.530, the unit to speak to.
12053, thank you so much, good evening.
Control,
Interesting, that's
already. You are cleared
what VAT glasses showed me, but they probably just took someone online in the meantime.
6,000 feet, Q&H.
Alright, let's go ahead and call him. and see about him instead.
Number 100 transition, we are inbound Moza, descending 6,000 feet, QNH 1012, 3 kilo.
London, good evening. Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot in London City. Information Alpha, request clearance to Amsterdam.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, hello, call you back. Easy 40 Juliet Alpha, continue on your present heading, climb now.
Alright, probably rather busy. Who can blame him?
Present heading, climb flight 130, easy 40
So we'll just wait
Alpha.
for the clearance to arrive over here, and then we're going to continue. Let's see, is there anything else we can do in the meantime? Well, maybe work a little bit on the setup of our flight, so let's find our departure chart over here. We got the Oduku departure, and we might as well switch that over to night mode right now. Like that, and like that. That's better, isn't it?
Roger.
Okay, so we got all that lovely stuff. Then let's go into the departure briefing. And for that, we'll do it airline style.
755, you can rate now direct Mayfield, Mike Alpha Yankee.
So we are going to depart from London City, runway 27, Oduku 1, hotel departure. Initial climb 3000, MSA 2300. And we've got 400 pounds extra fuel, giving us 20 minutes. So we'll be starting the engines on stand. Taxi out to runway 27 is pretty much along the entire airport, so we do have a little bit of time available. Our departure today is going to lead us, or rather our engine out is going to lead us straight at 25 miles to pick up the holding, which is right across Heathrow Airport, but we'll declare emergency, full program, so we are not going to bother with that today. Anything special? Well, yeah, the low level of altitude. So, right after takeoff, once we're speeding up properly, we'll go to vertical speed mode, level off in 3000, and then decide on the further course of action. Apart from that, nothing non-standard, and threats for the departure, to be honest. Busy ATC frequency might be one, but we'll see about that. For the time being, it just looks like he's covering a lot, but it doesn't seem too bad over here in terms of the actual amount of traffic at City. Alright, and that's our departure briefing completed. Do you have any questions? No? Alright.
847 Lima Yankee, climb now 12.
So I just saw that they just got Natus online. Let's see if we can request that.
847 Lima Yankee.
So, London City, request departure.
London Control,
No.
good evening. Lufthansa 1346, flight level 140, inbound Apple.
And here it is.
Thank you. Lufthansa 755.
So, London City 8 is Alpha, runway 27, transition level 75, departures must maintain 3000 until advised. Departing aircraft make initial contact with London Control 12053. Data link clearances are available. Okay, fantastic. Then we're gonna go data link. And that's it. Okay, so... No, that's not it. That's it. So, departure clearance, request, and ATIS version is Alpha. Gate number is, I'll call it GAT, because there is none published over here, and that's looking good. Sent to EGLC. Okay, let's see, maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. We'll find out.
847 Lima Yankee, climb now, flight level 13, sorry.
Climb now 130,
And if he doesn't, then we'll have to annoy him by a voice at some point.
535, sorry, disregard.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So let's keep that point on the checklist open and just continue with the rest. So trims 3 center stab for
Contact
takeoff.
1 Uniform Bravo, London Control, hello, thank you, maintain altitude 4,000
And here's
feet on reaching.
3.0. Cabin, catering, water ice, trash and cabin seats are checked, and music, not for now.
Negative,
And then we're waiting for the before engine start
4,000 upon
checklist.
reaching.
Alright, so down here QNH was 1012, let's set that.
847 Lima Yankee.
And the
left
initial
heading
climb
060
3000.
degrees.
Lufthansa 608, 847 Yankee.
Flyer 35 kilo, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, level by at.
Alright, so with that we're pretty much ready to go up here. I think I forgot to assign my throttle properly, so let's just do
Flyer
that.
35 kilo, descend altitude 4,000 feet, level by at, PEV.
So I've just created one for the Phenom over here, which works very well for the Citation as well.
I'm sorry, who is the station calling for the clearance at London City?
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, thanks, sorry about the delay. Clear to Amsterdam, Maduku 1 Alpha departure, Squawk 6251.
Squawk 6251 Adupu 1 Alpha departure, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, request startup.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, thank you, that's correct. Start approved, QNH 1012.
Start approved 1012, Delta Lima Foxtrot.
84-7 Lima Yankee, report your heading to London.
Okay, Uduku 1 Alpha, slightly different than what we had planned. Actually, no, it's not. 1 Alpha is what we got in there.
Condor 1 Uniform Bravo.
That's perfectly fine.
Flight level 120.
Alright, so we got all that stuff. Then let's go ahead and set the Squawk 6251. And with that, we're ready to go. So let's go right into the before starting engine checklist.
Flight level 90.
And all of our guests are on board. Full house today.
Lufthansa 1346, when you're ready, descend flight level 90.
When ready, descend flight level 90, Lufthansa 1346.
And the other station.
Here we go, and close. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and do the V4 engine start checklist. Park and brake. So that's going to come on, and brake is set. Okay, so park and brake. On brake, wheel chocks removed, FBO payment, fuel receipt verified received, static wicks removed, cabin door closed, curtain open, dividers latched open, crew seats pedals, seat harness and belts adjusted and fastened, passenger belts and safety buttons are both on. ICAS checked, fuel quantity, balance and reserves checked, departure route crew briefing performed, passenger briefing complete, before engine start checklist complete. So, starting engine checklist, APU bleeder button off, max cool button off, throttle's idle, and we're ready to go. So, engine 1 start.
Descent pilot 180 David Golf for Connor Power.
Right, there's 9%.
Sorry, can I say again the direct? For Connor
Engine button run.
Yeah, direct Dover, Delta Victor Romeo.
Yeah, it's a Victor Romeo for Connor.
And here we go, the engine is coming up.
Steven 902 November, read Epsom and Dover.
One thing that's really worth looking at while the engines are starting here are the fuel and the electrical pages. Because you really get to see what's going on in the background there with the automatics running.
Route Echo Papa Mike, then Delta Victor Romeo.
Reach Echo Papa Mike, Delta, the other way,
Delta Victor Romeo.
Delta Victor Romeo.
Alright, that is looking like a good start on engine
1346, contact
number 1.
Director 126.825.
Contact Gateway Director 126.825, Lufthansa 1346, thank you, bye-bye.
All stations stand by.
All stations stand by, in other words...
Taxi, you can contact Thames Radar 132.7, they'll have that for you.
1327, Delta Lima Foxtrot. Alright, so engine 2 starts. Actually, tell you what, let's remove that GPU first. External power can go down here and up here, so that thing's going, and don't forget to close the access door, otherwise things are gonna get expensive. Alright, and then engine 2 starts. Now let's have a quick look at the electrics over here. You can see that the left-hand generator is already covering the left elect bus, but the emergency bus is still connected to the batteries, because that's where the engine starter is connected.
Climb now, flight level 100.
Continue climbing 100,
Stupid 902 November, climb flight level 180.
Climb 180, speed bus 130, correction 902 November.
Condor 1 Uniform Bravo, contact London 123, correction 129, decimal 430.
12904.
You can see the left emergency bus is currently in use. The right one's showing normal, because the engine starts happening over there. And once the complete startup sequence is complete, that is going to go back to normal as well.
Delta Control, speedbird 6, Delta Echo, passing 2,500 feet.
Speedbird 6, Delta Echo, thank you. Just confirm you're cleared altitude.
Alright, then let's switch over to Tham's radar.
Five Yankee Tango Alpha, read back correct. Information Delta is current QNH 1012.
Right, and here's two good starts. And you can see now the LEG is showing normal as well. Fantastic. So let's go back onto the right hand side here with that controller. Here we go, and back into the checklists. So that's the engine running, EIS and CAS checked, exterior power disconnected, interior button verified on, before taxi checklist, flight control, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Okay, nose wheel steering, disconnect is checked, speed brakes, checked and stowed, flight instruments and avionics checked, flight director modes top altitude set 3000 verified, autopilot is off, takeoff speeds not there quite yet, flaps 1 please. Okay, takeoff speeds posted, fuel transfer feed is off, bleed air system checked, pressurization landing altitude verified, anti-ice buttons off, EIS cast checked, and before taxi checklist complete. Tham's radar, good evening, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, request taxi.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, Thames direct, hello, taxi on point Mike, runway 27, report ready for departure.
On point Mike, runway 27, Wilco, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Alright, so exterior lights are on, brakes gonna be checked here, nose wheel steering as well, rudder, bias system and thrust reversers will be checked once we clear the apron. So brakes looking good. Then we just gotta get rid of that bus over here. Alright. That is looking good.
Yankee Tango Alpha, we are ready for instance. 5 Yankee Tango Alpha, Roger, start up.
Okay, so hold up on Mike, as you can see, is all the way to the full length. Then let's have a look at the brand new INI-built London city scenery. And, well, what can we say? First impression here is that they have a fantastic ground pulley. If you look at that, it's just good. It's just good. Terminal on the side here. Couple of reflections on the windows. Not sure how I'm liking those yet, but once you're a beam, they're looking really good. Alright, let's try not to run into that little building here. Okay, that's got to be the guy who got his landing clearance a couple of moments ago. Embraer 190, I think. And another Embraer over here. That's the typical type of aircraft that you're gonna see here. Now I wish that we had a good A318 available, because I would love to do the flights to New York. Alright, so thrust reverser check. That's looking good. Alright, so that's our taxi checklist completed. Now let's go ahead with the before takeoff checklist. So flap selector is set for takeoff, speed brake stowed, trims, all set, any eyes off, speed knobs, FMS, radar off, flight director modes and altitude are checked, and crew briefing is completed, before takeoff checklist complete.
Runway 27 Mike, ready for departure.
November 613 Kilo, Roger, runway 27, cleared for takeoff, surface wind is
Man, that sounds pretty busy.
degrees at 6 knots.
And now the simulator is frozen.
Runway 27 cleared for takeoff, November 613 Hotel Kilo.
Kindly unfreeze, please. Hello? I'm sure it is gonna unfreeze any moment. I'm fairly sure that it is loading scenery in the background here because we are running with the full set of photogrammetric scenery here. Yep, here we go again. See? Told ya. Alright, so here we are going again. We are already behind that airplane, and that looks like a CJ4, or maybe a Phenom. Could be both. Alright, reaching hold point Mike. I'm not gonna tell him ready, because he knows. And we know why we don't have any clearance just now. So that kind of solves that. Alright, park and brake is set, taxi light is going off, and with that we're sitting here at the holding point and ready for departure. Well, let's already go ahead and turn that floodlight up. Okay. So, departure, Oduku 1 Alpha. Here it is. So, that is looking good.
Alpha, we are ready for taxi. 5 Yankee Tango Alpha, taxi holding point Mike, runway 27. Report ready for departure.
Taxi to holding point Mike will report the departure for runway 27 there. Silent Tango Alpha.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot ready.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, roger, line up, runway 27.
Line up runway 27, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Alright. So, brake released, lights all on. And we'll just start with the checklist down here. So, clear for takeoff checklist, control lock off, flight controls free, pitot static on, anti-ice off, external lights on, cast check, auto throttle, will arm in a moment. Look at that sight. Man, this is awesome.
On runway 27.
Now I'm actually hoping he's gonna delay the takeoff clearance a bit. So I gotta take some good screenshots of that. What kind of an amazing sight is that, please? Okay, what crappy lineup is that, please? But look at this, man.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, surface wind 200 degrees at 6 knots, runway 27 clear for takeoff.
Runway 27 clear for takeoff, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Alright. Timer, auto throttle armed, and that's the clear for takeoff checklist complete. Okay, ready? Take off. So, set thrust?
Caution, short runway.
Thrust set.
Short runway.
80 knots. V1. Rotate. Take in that sight, man. Positive climb, gear up.
November 613 Hotel Kilo, contact London Control,
Nav.
frequency 134.125, command.
Vertical speed, autopilot.
Control on 134.125.
Flaps up.
Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your evening. November 613 Hotel Kilo.
And there's 2,000 to go. Wow. Just wow. I mean, this is spectacular. Look at this, man.
Jet 67 Mike, Thames Director, hello. You're cleared on the Lambda 1 Juliet transition, runway 27.
Vertical speed 1000.
Transition for runway 27, flex 067.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot passing 2800.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot Roger, climb to an altitude of 4,000 feet.
Climbing now, altitude 4000. Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot.
All stations stand by 2 minutes, I'll be offering them.
Okay, vertical speed 1000. We still have the 210 speed limit that we gotta obey, and after takeoff checklist. Landing gear up, flaps up, yaw damper on, flight director modes check, pressurization is verified, exterior lights, I'm gonna keep them on for the time being. Are checked, after takeoff checklist complete. Now, this gotta be one of the most amazing takeoffs that we've done on the channel yet. I mean, did you see that side of London? Wow. That was amazing. I'm totally blown away by this right now. Like, totally blown away. Controllers AFK. Alright, so there's just another speed restriction on here, that's it. We're maintaining those 4,000 because of all the traffic that you can see. Stansted over there, Heathrow over here, Luton down here. Really busy area here. Alright, I don't think we really need that chart anymore, do we? Let's go full screen PFD up here. Just to give us that extra bit. Okay. So, we can kind of expect to maintain the low altitude for a bit here out of city. That just comes with this airport. You're below all the traffic from the large ones. But then again, you do waste a little bit of fuel by flying low. On the other hand side, our entire flight is level capped to level 210 maximum.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot contact London on 118.480.
118.480, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Have a fantastic weekend.
Runway 1, X-ray echo.
London, good evening. Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot maintaining 4,000.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, climb now, flight level 130.
Climb now, flight level 130, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Alright, climb level change 250 and 13,000 is checked.
Heading 050.
Heading 050 for Ryanair 1 X-ray.
Alright, and off we go. Yeah, just don't make it too rapid, please. Nope, 8,000 is too much for London airspace. Let's do 4,000. Just to keep it nice and under control. Right, set standard. Standard, cross check, passing flight level 65 now. Checked. Alright, what's the temperature out here? 9 degrees. Engine anti-ice on.
Alright, direct DICSAT for,
And there it is.
Good evening, Fraction CLC 1 Papa.
Cowlings are going to heat up momentarily here, and that is all looking good. You can see how much reserve thrust we have available over here, if we just sped up a little bit, but I really want to take it nice and slow, approaching in the London airspace over here, because it is such a complex airspace. If you go too fast in here, you could easily create trouble. But we can get a manual speed here and start speeding up a little bit. Getting me 300 knots. And here we go through level 100. Okay, so climbing through 10,000. Passenger safety button off. And then we can do the transition altitude as well, which is altimeter standard. Seatbelts. Can definitely turn them off now. Off, and exterior lights are coming off. Alright, APU has never been on, and that's the transition altitude checklist complete. Alright, lovely. Well, there's 1,000 to go. Vertical speed. We're going to maintain those 300 knots over here. Don't want to... We are not that desperate to go into the last 5 knots, the speed range there. Alright. So, let's summarize that departure. Overall, I gotta say, city looks absolutely fantastic, and we are most definitely going to become... Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, climb level 210. Set. 210 tracked, then let's do 4,000 again. I just don't want to stretch it here with a climb, so we're just gonna keep things reasonable. 4,000 feet a minute is more than enough. That's if the airplane can actually make it, and it doesn't quite look like it. I tell you what, let's do a level change and 290. Looks like we are stretched out at 4,500. Because we're flying so fast, the plane just has an incredible amount of drag at that speed. That's why the normal climb speed is 250 and then 6.4 in conversion. And we are obviously going quite a bit faster than that right now. But I think that fits us a little nicer into all the traffic flow in the London area, because they're all flying that fast. And that way, if we fit a little better with all the other aircraft, I think that's a good thing for us as well. Alright, so let's summarize that departure. I think the new city scenery looks fantastic, and with that I mean absolutely fantastic. The ground poli was lovely, the general aviation parking in London City, well, you could see that they didn't model the entire interior in 3D, but they used that technique, I forgot the name of it, where you basically fake 3D interiors, but without the need for actually modeling 3Ds. I forgot how that technique is called. If you guys do remember, then do put it in the comments below the video, please, as I would absolutely be interested. And yeah, the ground polygon just looks fantastic, and I think if you're taxiing an airplane where you're sitting a little higher, it's going to look even better. So I have a feeling that we are certainly going to fly the RJ into London City very soon. Yeah, apart from that, fantastic air traffic control. We waited a little bit for the IFR clearance, but nothing wrong with that. You guys heard how busy he was. And I'm going to be completely honest, I was surprised that he actually still remembered that we did even call for clearance. So my gratitude to that controller. Now, apart from that, the departure went pretty well. I still can't get over the sight that we had shortly after takeoff. I mean, that light, that fantastic 3D modeling of the city and the Wembley arena down there. Wow. Just wow. That was phenomenal. That was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, apart from that, climb out as pretty much as expected. Obviously keeping our airplane under a little bit of control over here, not climbing too fast. Because those 8,000 feet a minute that the Sovereign is capable of, they're just gonna disrupt the traffic flow. So something like 4,000 feet a minute worked absolutely nice, especially in combination with the high speeds. So let's go to FMS speeds now. And here we go, 290. Alright. And then we're gonna maintain level 210 over here for our way over to London. Now let's for our way over to Amsterdam. So let's just go ahead and start dimming our displays a little bit already, because it is slowly but steadily getting dark over here. So we got that, and then down here we got that. Alright. So that's all looking good. The passengers are released. I'll mix up the switches here. Tail flap light should have been off. Anti-collision should of course have been on. Okay.
Rider 1X3 Echo, what level can you achieve by red stuff?
So let's see if we can already get ourselves some 8s. Nope. That was the wrong button.
What level are you able to climb to by red stuff?
So, Amsterdam, arrival. We do not want the real world 8s, but we want the simulated one.
370 level by red.
So, this is Skipper Arrival Information Uniform. Main landing Romeo 18, secondary landing Romeo... main Romeo 18 right, secondary 18 center. I'm gonna speculate and go for Romeo 18 center. Because at the end of the day, we're gonna be parking down here. So if we land on 18 right, then we're gonna do like 20 minutes taxi, which I'm really not too motivated to do. With a bit of luck we could request Romeo 22, huh? What do you think, guys? Are we gonna try that? Visual approach Romeo 22. You know, we're flying into a super busy VATSIM event, so I'm kind of thinking probably... No, I don't know. I'm thinking we are going to get it, because it's going to be good for them to get us clear of the entire IFR airliner traffic. And I don't think they want us inside the airliner traffic, because our final approach speed of around 100 knots is going to disrupt the traffic flow over there rather significantly. So what I'm going to do here, let's have a look. Arrival. We're coming in from Redfar, so that's the Redfar 1 Alpha, leading down to Sugol over here. And let's see. Approaches. ILS 22. Sugol takes us over the field, and then around it and in like that.
119780, this is fucked up.
Alright, so 119780 must be 38 traveling on that.
I think it's happening. I think we are gonna get 22.
Nordic 41 Sierra, there's nothing further.
Let's try.
Continue east to come 122 decimal.
Nordic 410, this is Landry, number 618, bye-bye.
5 Yankee Tango Alpha, time flight level 45.
So, Redfar 1 Alpha arrival, loads.
And the 7 Lima Whiskey, contact Heathrow director 119er decimal 730, right?
Heathrow director 119.730.
Where's the Redfar? Down there it is. So we got Redfar below level 230, then we proceed towards Solid, and then to Sugol between 10 and 7, maximum 250 knots. Alright, that is looking good so far.
And flyer 4459er, descent flight level 100.
So ILS 22. I'll enter Sugol. I don't really expect to get it, but
level by Sabre.
yep, that looks like the chart.
Right, 1 X-ray echo, contact match with radar, 135.
So, Sugol, Sierra Papa Lima, Papa Alpha Mike, 180, 181, 649, 650, runway 22.
Amsterdam, 125.750.
12575, Double Lima Foxtrot. Have a wonderful weekend.
Keep it 41 Hotel Alpha, 130.
Fox 67 uniform, go good evening, flight level 250.
250,
Alright, let's load that. Amsterdam, Goedenavond, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, flight level 210 in Mount Redfall.
Delta Echo Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Amsterdam, good evening, flight direct, Sugol, expect the runway, well, what can I do?
Great, Sugol, expect runway 22, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Fantastic, direct Sugol, and runway 22. Just like what we hoped for. Okay then.
Galaxy Echo Delta for present position, proceed direct, go off.
And here's runway 22. Let's find the minimums, which is 236. And then we can quickly do performance setup here. London data, skip hold 22, weather, load, runway is looking good. Flaps full, anti-ice off, that's all looking good. I'll tell you what the runway is. Okay, full is the only certified setting, that's fine. 6,624 feet available, 2,832 feet required. Let's accept those speeds. Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot when ready to send level 100, level at Sugol. Set, 100 checked. Alright, so performance is in here. And flight plan Sugol, they want us. Let's do at 10,000. Well, flight level 100. Alright, enter. Fantastic, so 3 minutes to the top of descent. We've basically completed our setup already. Fantastic. So let's bring up that cruise checklist. That's fuel, check, verify reserves. And it's checked and plenty of reserves on board, so that's it. Alright. And information uniform is on board. Fantastic, so the approach setup is completed. Then let's go ahead and start with the approach briefing. So this is going to be a radar vector ILS approach runway 22, MSA 2,000 feet and the minimum 236 feet. The ground leads us up to 2,000 feet and extra fuel and time. We have about 600 pounds, giving us roughly 30 minutes. Now for the approach, we are going to use flight director guidance, flaps full, runway 22. Probably a lot of automatic flying today because I do imagine that it is going to be pretty busy on the way in. We do not have anything special, we do not have anything non-standard. We will be using just idle reverse and vacate the runway to the left hand side, then somewhere down to the general aviation apron. Don't know which parking exactly just yet. And that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions or suggestions up here? No. Fantastic. So that's our approach briefing completed. Then let's just go ahead and make sure that we got those same approach charts up here. So arrival, Redfire 1 Alpha, approach, ILS 22, airport, and this is where things are getting really interesting. So let's take the general airport chart. Yep, what's that? Copper descent in 1 minute, and the descent is already cleared, so VNAV is on. So let's see, we'll probably be parking somewhere here, and that's parking stance continued, or parking stance continued 1. So most likely over here
Laatste is incoming
on the kilo apron. I'll just take that for the time being. Then we have all the charts ready. And that's pretty much it for the time being. Alright, here's VNAV coming alive. And the path capture. Level 100 is checked. So 300 knots on the descent, pretty close to the maximum, but it is going to work rather well here. I am absolutely convinced of that. Look at this.
Staat 2 voor Mike, proceed direct. Liftoff, expect liftoff, 2 Foxtrot, ILS X-ray naar de toeland.
Direct it's 2 Foxtrot, ILS now with 127 for Mike, dankjewel.
Alright, so let's go for the descent checklist, please. That's pressurization, landing elevation, -14 is checked, altimeters at the transition level, and then we'll do the pulse and anti-collision light. Well, that's basically all for 10,000. The checklist is written for operations in the US, so I'm gonna change that over. Okay, we have no clearance past Sugal, so if
Charlie, Echo Lima Foxtrot after Sugal, direct check out Papa, Lima, 275.70.
Delta Lima Foxtrot after Sugal, Sierra Papa Lima, descending level 70. Talk about the double, here I am. Set, 70 checked, then we got Sugal, Sierra Papa Lima. Now that was timing. That was timing, man. Alright, let's just go back here for a second. So I just want to enjoy that view. This is amazing, isn't it?
Are we clear to descend according to the profile?
Mike, when ready, flight 70, level 5 liftoff.
The other side is probably looking even better. So look. Yeah. Look at that. I could absolutely get used to flying in that style in the real world. I do love my A330, but this would be quite amazing as well. At least as a passenger. I would probably not want to sit on that flight deck for 6 hours in a row in the real world. I mean, look at this. It is nice.
That's Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, get level 121, this 1205, please.
121-205, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Information uniform. Skipper approach, good evening. Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, level 137, descending level 70, information uniform.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, hello, vectors for the RMP runway 22.
RMP 22, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, any speed restriction? Okay, free speed, I'm gonna take it. And RMP 22, okay, so we just gotta re-enter that.
Waiting lower.
So, Sugo Sierra Papa Lima is still in there.
1015 low, cancel level 130.
Preview looks good. Load. And we're supposed to be in with this Sugo over here. Thank you. Alright. So, RMP22, let's just have a look into that chart.
Message 1015, select 209, is it?
Okay, so Sugo, Sierra Papa Lima Pampas. Then we got Amaga, 672, Bluesy, and 661. With a couple of speed restrictions all along the way. And from 661 we start the final approach. And that is the 3-degree glide slope down to the minimum of 503 feet. Alright, so very good speed and FMS speed. Nope, 220 is too slow. Give me 250 below 100, like that. Alright. Cool, so we got that stuff, then let's just check the missed approach. And that is, turn left to Alpha Mike 675 as soon as practicable, but not below 400, and climb to 2000. And we got 400, 675, 2000. Alright, easy. Okay, so engine anti-ice on for that little sucker here. And then we can do the checklist. So, pressurization, landing elevation minus 14, altimeters to go, and exterior lights are all on. Okay, so approach checklist. Nah, I gotta wait for the altimeter until we can do that. But nonetheless, let's put those on as well. Okay. Look at the final for 1-8 right. One guy on 1-8 center as well. I'm pretty happy that we are going for runway 22 today. In an airliner, this would have probably looked rather differently. And engine anti-ice off again.
Message 1015, komt op Amsterdam, want voor decimal 1 heeft zitten voorbij.
I'm quite surprised how busy it is with private aircraft. I heard a lot of NetJets, a lot of flex jets, and here's 1,000 to go. Then there was that 5 Victor, now there's us. Quite lovely. There have been so many great private jet releases recently. Really happy to hear all of those on VATSIM as well. That's pretty cool indeed. Bumping up the VATSIM experience a little bit, because private jets often have completely different profiles from the typical airliners. Alright, he's probably going to keep us in level 70 all the way past the field, and we're probably only then going to get the descent across the city of Amsterdam, which is just over here, and then right down onto runway 22. That does sound like a plan to me. Now look at this. Beautiful, isn't it? And we're leveling off in 7-0, that's looking good. Fantastic. Yeah, a little busy on TCAS. Let's see, where's that controller? Here it is. Good. Delta Lima Foxtrot, radio check on 121-205.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thanks, I wasn't used to so much silence on this flight. I bet all the airlines are down with direct already. Alright, so you can give me... Actually, this is still the ILS chart. Let's just replace that one real quick. Here it is,
Okay, then
AMD
809
Citation.
identified, transfer level 130.
Okay.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, leave Sierra Papa Lima heading 090.
Leave Sierra Papa Lima 090, Delta Lima Foxtrot. Heading 090. Yep, so that's pretty much what I expected. Taking us over the fields, clear of all the airliners, which are all somewhere down here. Let's see, can we see them? No, not right now. In the real world, I would expect to see all the landing lights lined up all the way to the horizon. Look at that, man. There's so many great pictures on this flight, I don't even know which one to choose as a thumbnail. But I think it's definitely going to be one from the departure down the city.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, descend level 40.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, descend level 40.
Made to the 9 from Amsterdam on coordinates 1880. Made to the 9 from Amsterdam on
Vertical
coordinates
speeds,
1880.
4000 blue. Alright, and we're going to leave Sierra Papa Lima on 090, so the moment that it switches over, I'm going to go to heading modes. Heading. For the time being, I'm going to keep all the stuff that I got down here in the FMS, because I'm not 100% sure yet which waypoint they're going to vector us to before we get our clearance for the Arnath approach. So, we'll see about that. Not 100% decided yet.
Burger 7 Alpha Uniform, hello, vector.
Oh, it looks like I forgot to change the transition level on the way in. What is this doing? I'm not looking for an Asus right now.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, descend to altitude 3000 feet, with QNH 1014.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, descend 3000, 1014. Set 3000 checked, set QNH. (1014) cross check, passing 5640 now. Checked. Alright, approach checklist. Running data. Confirmed, minimums 503, anti-ice off, flight instruments checked set. Crew approach briefing complete, cross feed off, exterior lights on, passenger briefing complete. Curtain divider door latched open still, crew seats, seatbelts adjusted, fasten seatbelts on, APU start not required, and that's the approach checklist complete.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, O navigation direct Omega via Omega cleared RMP runway 22.
Direct Omega via Omega cleared RMP 22, Delta Lima Foxtrot.
Burger 7 Alpha Uniform, terrein 280.
Okay, FMS. See, this is why I didn't activate the vectors to final on the GTCs, because that would have taken Omega out and probably gave us Alpha Mike 661 or something. So that way, we can now completely follow our own navigation here. So let's do 500 feet a minute, and then speed restrictions, Omega maximum 220. What was that about? Okay, minute to the top of descent. Come on, let's update that direct, please. Who's better? Okay, managed speeds. Let's start the reduction down here.
Turkish 47 Alpha Uniform, reduce the speed 220 knots. 47 Alpha Uniform, the speed 220 knots.
Alright, speed is coming down. Look at the fantastic coastline. I'm flying this one in real time, and honestly gotta say, I think we picked about the best time of the day that we could possibly have chosen for a flight like this.
Hello 1576, expedite to descent, please.
Expedite descent, Canada 154.
Turkish 12 uniform for the
Alright,
right.
so waypoint 672, maximum 190 knots. And we are cleared for the approach. Glide path out.
Keyboard delivery, departure, EZ237, Falcon 3 Sierra, 3,200 feet.
Alright, speed is coming back, flaps 1. Speed check.
130, EZ237.
Flaps 1. That just increases our drag a little bit so that we can establish properly. It cleared for the approach, and the approach starts down in 2000. So let's continue that descent down to 2000. And here's some 190 knots. Alright, so maximum 190 over Blausi and then 185 over 661, and thereafter we can slow down to the landing speeds. Glide path capture, go around altitude set. Delta Lima Foxtrot established.
Delta Lima Foxtrot for the tower, 119.230, bye bye.
119.23, bye bye. Skipper Tower, good evening. Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot established RMP 22.
Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot Skipper Tower, hello, good day, number... actually, runway 22 clear to land, wind 240 at 7.
Runway 22, clear to land, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot. Alright.
Nailed everything, 25 back with you, squawking Charlie, let me know if you don't see that.
We're 25, yeah, now I see you, contact the approach and 121.20.
Cool, so everything is done, everything is set up.
121.2, thanks for helping out, later, 55.
So remember that note, connect ground after vacating runway, and ground is going to be 121.805.
Good for uniform, hello.
Let's just pre-select that.
Alpha 5 to Romeo Alpha, runway
okay.
1810, clear to land, the wind 240 at 7, bye-bye.
So, manual flight.
Runway 1810, clear to land, have a great night, Alpha 5 to Romeo Alpha. Cheers as well.
Okay.
Now ready for takeoff.
Auto throttle off, gear down.
224, hello, dive rate runway 24 will be
Flaps
a
2.
short minute.
And then let's go flight director south. And flaps full. Landing checklist. So, landing gear is down at 3 green, flaps full, speed brakes retracted, airspeed is coming down, autopilot off, yaw damper off, and that's the before landing checklist complete. Alright, stable approach gate, and we are pretty much stabilized here. Checked. Look at that beautiful reflection in the lake. Man, this is lovely. We've really chosen the best time of the day for a flight. Continue.
Japan 224, just confirm line up event right 247.
What's the line up with runway
And just to be sure, let's turn those pulse lights on as well.
Good 47 uniform, runway 1810, vacated to land, the with 240 at 7, bye bye.
And please pick up 18, that's the bye bye.
Little turbulence, but nothing significant. Pretty easy to fly. So those are of course the type of landings that you are gonna mess up, because it's just too easy. So let's see how that's gonna go.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brakes up, manual brakes,
Take off runway 24, Japan 24, bye-bye.
and here we are, off to the left and over the ground. Ground, good evening, Delta Charlie Echo Lima Foxtrot, request taxi to the Kilo apron.
Delta Lima Foxtrot, taxi to Golf Lima.
Taxi Golf Lima, Delta Lima Foxtrot, good evening. Yeah, that's not the chart.
81 Juliet, request taxi. Flight 1 Juliet, taxi to runway 24, report Sierra 7 via Alpha 12. Alright, holding point 0.
Alright, so taxi Golf Lima, that's over here. It's gonna be a left turn off.
7 Alpha Juliet, give way to the EasyJet, A320 from the left.
Okay, and then we can do the after landings. Which is thrust reverser, stowed, speed brake, stowed, flaps, up, pedostatic heat, off, lights, off, and APU as desired. That's not needed today, so that's the after landing checklist complete.
121705, EG6, 30 Delta.
F105, ready for taxi.
Transport to 55 behind the KLM in front. When he is ready, taxi runway 24, holding point Sierra 7.
God, just don't make it too many charts, huh?
Holding point runway 24, 07, airport auto.
Here we go, that's the one.
It seems like the heavy traffic on
Alright,
is not moving yet,
so
taxi
Golf
via
Lima.
Alpha 3 and then right Alpha.
Off over here, and then we can enter the apron on our own.
Hello Control, Dynasty 076, gate Echo 18.
Come on,
Requesting push and star.
don't stop here.
Taxi 076, I'll call you back
No,
shortly.
I don't think it. I don't think we stopped. I think the simulator froze. That would have been too easy, huh? Probably reloading some buildings, just like it did over in.
Sorry, say again? Can we talk about
Just like it did over in London City before our departure. After all, we are pretty much facing the city of Amsterdam right now, and that thing is photogrammetric. See, here we are. Alright, so we are reaching Golf Lima just over here. Delta Lima Foxtrot reaching Golf Lima, entering the apron. Good evening.
Good evening, bye-bye.
Alright, so maximum wingspan 24. I do believe we can enter this.
KLM last one and Air France A320. After the Air France started, I push back approved.
Again, Roger, Dynasty 076.
Alright, and then we're gonna take Kilo 20, which is the first on the right.
Yeah, 69, ready for taxi. First KLM 888, just give way to the outbound KLM Dreamliner from the right.
And here we are.
Giving way to the outbound Dreamliner.
So the parking brake is set, let's do the shutdowns please.
I'm looking at this back. Yeah, we will taxi forward.
And
so
first thing first,
but you'll need to wait until he's clear.
Let's just clear that frequency real quick. Alright, and shutdown checklist. Throttles, idle, parking brake, set. Engine run stop buttons after 2 minutes. stop. Seatbelts and safety buttons are off, and since we are leaving the airplane, that's gonna be emergency lights off, standby power switch off, control lock on. Okay, so chocks are gonna come. So that's down here on the ground menu, wheel chocks in place. Alright, and then parking brake release. Alright, lavatory, service and fresh water done, trip stats. Let's quickly take that photo. And here we go, that's all looking good. We took 41 minutes, Simri forecast 42 minutes, so that's actually quite perfect. 0.78 hours, fantastic. Alright, and then we can turn off the battery buttons and that's it. Alright, so with that, welcome to Amsterdam. I do hope that you enjoyed this little hop across the English Channel. Fantastic VATSIM ATC all around from departure to arrival, and a fantastic airplane, fantastic time of the day. I'm telling you guys, this has been my favorite flight from a really, really long time. Now comes the real hard decision, that's to decide which of those thousands of pictures from this flight to choose for the thumbnail. But I guess that's gonna be my problem as a YouTuber. You guys are going to see, probably even before you hear me say this. So thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.